here, bro. Peace out.
In this city, and I think, there's already been so much time, effort put in by so many people that, aren't going to get credit for what they did to bring All-Star here. So, trying to make it the best All-Star the WNBA has ever had. I know we'll certainly do that, but also, it is certainly a cool honor.
Now focus on the shooting motion. Watch it closely. That smooth, natural release, the one that defined her college career, is back. It's fluid, unforced, and effortless. Even the commentator picked up on it immediately, pointing out that this looks like the authentic Caitlin Clark everyone remembers, not the compromised version who fought through last season. And here's the part most people avoid talking about. Before entering the WNBA, Caitlin Clark intentionally added significant muscle mass. At the time, the decision made perfect sense. She knew what was coming, the physicality, the contact, the veterans who openly talked about testing her. She prepared her body to withstand that punishment. But there was a trade-off. That added muscle subtly altered her mechanics. Her release became heavier. Her timing shifted. Her range, once automatic, turned inconsistent. Those deep threes that used to feel inevitable started clanking off the rim instead of snapping through the net. Shooting is about rhythm and balance as much as strength. And when that balance is disrupted even slightly, elite shooters feel it immediately. Throughout her rookie season, Clark often looked like she was forcing shots rather than flowing into them. Now, watch this Team USA practice footage again. There's no excess elevation, no overcompensation, no forcing. The motion looks clean, almost instinctive. This is the Iowa Caitlin Clark resurfacing, the player whose body and mechanics are finally back in sync. That doesn't happen overnight. It happens when a player has time to let their body recalibrate, to shed unnecessary tension, and to trust their natural form again. Her body has found equilibrium. This isn't just improvement, it's correction, and it explains why her shot suddenly looks lighter, quicker, and more reliable.
Hey, shoot her shot. Bang. So right there, Caitlin's shot looked like it's back, y'all. I mean, she ain't even jumping for real. Now, I don't think this was a three either. Nope, it wasn't. This looked like a mid-range shot. But overall, her form looked great.
Take a moment and really pay attention to what's unfolding right now. Caitlin Clark has officially completed her first full practice session with Team USA in North Carolina, and there's an unmistakable difference in the air. This doesn't feel like a routine off-season appearance. Something about her presence, her movement, and even the way she speaks signals a shift. This is not the exhausted rookie who looked worn down by the grind of her first WNBA season last summer. Listen to how she talks about her recovery. Calm, measured, intentional. She mentions managing things day by day, not as someone trying to survive, but as someone fully in control of her process. That alone tells you a lot. She's had nearly 3 uninterrupted months to decompress, to let her body reset, and to mentally step away from the chaos that followed her everywhere during her rookie year. That time mattered. The WNBA season didn't just test her skill. It tested her durability, her mental stamina, and her ability to carry unprecedented attention. By the end of it, she looked drained. Not broken, but undeniably worn down. What we're seeing now is the result of distance from that pressure. Space to heal. Time to reconnect with the version of herself that dominated college basketball. The clips coming out of Team USA camp are quietly revealing something important. Something the league may not have intended to highlight so clearly. Caitlin Clark looks refreshed. Her movements are smoother. Her posture is lighter. She's not playing tight. She's playing free. This isn't about box scores or scrimmage stats. It's about body language. It's about rhythm. It's about the difference between surviving and thriving. And right now, she looks like someone who's moved past survival mode. What makes this moment even more significant is that it's happening away from a spotlight of regular season games. There's no crowd pressure, no nightly media storm, just basketball. And in that environment, the real Caitlin Clark is starting to reemerge. That should get everyone's attention, because when she's rested, confident, and fully healthy, the entire league feels it.
But I'm just saying, bruh, when it comes to Sophie Cunningham, the people got her numbers, and they know that she's one of the ones, man. Now, with all of that being said, we ain't going to waste no time, man. We're going to head on over to the WNBA Twitter account, because I almost was trying to make a video about this, because the WNBA, I don't know what, like, they just been posting these clips of Team USA, and they really haven't been posting Caitlin. I just got to be honest. So this was the clip right here that just came out.
Sophie Cunningham finishing 8th on the list of most searched athletes this year raised plenty of eyebrows, and for good reason. She was the only WNBA player to crack the entire ranking. An analyst even went on record stating that Sophie is currently the second biggest name in the league behind Caitlin Clark. Now, some fans immediately push back on that idea. But this isn't about personal rankings or emotional reactions. This is about data. Search volume doesn't lie. Social media engagement doesn't operate on feelings. Sophie Cunningham generates attention, controversy, and conversation at a level most players in the league simply don't. Love her or hate her, she moves the needle. But here's where the story gets more complicated. Insiders around Indiana have been quietly saying that Fever fans weren't exactly embracing Sophie during the past season. Her aggressive style, the on-court confrontations, the way she approached games against Caitlin Clark specifically, that tension didn't stay contained. It spilled out publicly. It became visible. And once that line is crossed, narratives start forming fast. What began as competitive fire slowly turned into something more uncomfortable. The dynamic shifted, and not in a good way. This matters because perception shapes fandom. And once fans turn even partially, the damage lingers.
That's going up on the JW.
I haven't seen it, but I've heard about it. Yeah, it's pretty solid. Anytime you get on the JW in Indianapolis, like that's a big deal. Good, thanks.
What do you feel like is a positive trait that you guys
A positive what? Sorry. Trait? You know, I think just adversity in itself. Like, you know, nobody said this season was going to be perfect for us. There's always going to be ups and downs. And, you know, I think as we get moving here and get to All-Star, then get through All-Star, like these are the moments that we're going to look back on and hopefully be able to, you know, give a lot of credit to for certain situations that we were put in, for, you know, injuries or, you know, coach it not being here for a couple games too. Like everybody's been through a little bit of adversity here. So, I think just giving our group credit for being able to stick together and, you know that whatever's in our locker room is really all we need to go out there and win. And honestly, just really proud of our group every single day. Like,
Pay attention to how Caitlin Clark frames adversity in her response here. She praises her teammates. She talks about unity. She highlights how the group stayed together despite injuries, coaching absences, and constant adjustments. It's all positive, all team-focused. But notice what she doesn't mention. There's no reference to the media chaos. No acknowledgement of the endless debates surrounding race, recognition, and cultural narratives that hijacked her rookie season. Not a single word about the off-court storm that had very little to do with basketball. That's intentional. That's media discipline. She keeps the message clean, upbeat, and centered on the game. It's a smart approach, no question. But it also reveals something deeper. Every public word has to be carefully measured. Every answer filtered. That kind of restraint is exhausting. For a first-year player, that psychological load is massive. She wasn't just learning a new system. She wasn't just adjusting to elite defenders. She was navigating a media landscape that turned her rookie year into something far bigger than basketball. That's a burden no young player should have to carry. Yet she did.
Telling you right now, this weekend was pretty decent, man. Caitlin Clark returned back to the basketball court, and I'm telling you right now, from the little snippets of clips we was able to see, she looked like her old self again, man. They didn't spill too much of the beans that was going on with her online, but there has been a bunch of footage coming out. Now, Sue Bird spoke to the media yesterday. A couple of other coaches did, but y'all already know what we hear. We here to see CC, man. Now, there was some news that came out about Angel Reese and stuff, but we ain't really too much tripping off that. Now, someone I have not seen them post yet is Stephanie White. It's almost like Stephanie White is non-existent for this Team USA. Now, I know she's one of the coaches. I don't believe she spoke to the media, which is crazy to me because Stephanie White was on a whole media run last year. This year, I think she did like maybe a couple interviews, but overall, she's been kind of silent. I don't know what that's all about.
Pay close attention to what's unfolding right now, because this moment carries more weight than it might seem on the surface. Caitlin Clark has just completed her first fully uninterrupted practice session with Team USA in North Carolina, and everything about it feels different. Not louder, not flashier, just unmistakably different. From the way she moves across the floor to the calm confidence in her voice when she talks about managing her recovery day by day, this doesn't look like the same player we saw limping toward the finish line of last summer. This version of Caitlin Clark isn't surviving the grind. She's controlling it. Listen carefully to how she speaks. There's no urgency, no frustration, no hint of someone trying to convince herself she's okay. She talks about recovery with intention and clarity as someone who understands her body again. That alone signals a major shift. We are no longer looking at the worn-down rookie who carried the physical and emotional weight of an entire league on her shoulders during her first WNBA season. That rookie year was brutal. The schedule was relentless. The physicality was constant. Every defender wanted to make a statement. Every arena felt hostile or hyper-focused. On top of that came the nonstop media attention, the debates, the narratives, the expectations that never let her breathe. By the end of it, she looked exhausted, not broken, but drained in a way that goes deeper than stats or minutes played. Now, fast forward to this moment. Caitlin Clark has had nearly 3 full months to decompress. 3 months without travel fatigue, without nightly pressure, without having to answer for the entire state of women's basketball every time she stepped in front of a microphone. That time mattered more than most people realize. Those months allowed her body to reset. Minor injuries healed. Lingering soreness faded. But just as importantly, her mind had space to reconnect with the player she was before everything accelerated. The version of herself that played freely instinctively, without constantly bracing for impact, both physical and emotional. And the footage coming out of Team USA camp is quietly revealing that transformation. The league may not have intended for it to be so obvious, but the signs are there if you know what to look for. Her movement is lighter. Her posture is relaxed. She's not tight. She's not rushing. She's not compensating. She looks comfortable inside her own game again. This isn't about one drill or one made shot. It's about body language. It's about rhythm. It's about the difference between a player operating in survival mode and one who's finally able to exhale. When Caitlin Clark moves now, there's no sense of carrying extra weight. No physical hesitation, no mental clutter. What makes this moment even more significant is where it's happening. This isn't under bright lights in front of a sold-out arena. There's no scoreboard pressure. No social media storm attached to every possession. It's just basketball stripped down to its purest form. And in that environment, the real Caitlin Clark is starting to reemerge. That should matter to everyone paying attention. Because when she's rested, confident, and fully aligned, physically and mentally, she doesn't just elevate her own game. She shifts the gravity of the entire league. And this practice session, it might be the first quiet signal that the next chapter is going to look very different.